Hey traders, hope you're doing well. Quite a market day. Lots of news from China had brought the markets tumbling, including the crypto market. And I just wanted to continue my documentation of getting a funded $150,000 futures account through TopStep. I put a little link in the description and the comments of this video if you want 20% off your combine. And yeah, so I'm going to get into last week's trades just to recap, and then today's trade. I didn't finish up any trade reviews for Wednesday through Friday last week. I just want to do a weekly recap of that, show you where my profit and loss is for the combine. If you don't know what a combine is, it's TopStep's way of testing you to become a funded trader through them. So I'm going through step one of their two-step process. And yeah, so if I look at last week's trade, I'll go to Trade here and then kind of refresh this page just to let you know it's real. This is paper money, but it's part of their combine that I'm paying for to be a participant of, which you can do the same. Links in the description again. And so we can look at last week's trades, and I had a total P&L of 3,400. But I had Wednesday, I had a really bad day. It was about a $2,500 drawdown. More than that, actually. It was almost 2,600. They have rules where you have a $3,000 daily loss limit. It's the same weekly loss limit, although that changes based on parameters, and you could read through their FAQ to understand why that is. But I had a pretty bad drawdown on Wednesday because I was trying to catch a falling knife. The exact same thing I said I was never going to do again, and that I had done the previous Thursday, exactly a week or almost a week ago from that day. And I think I really learned my lesson this time. It hit me hard this time because I had done such good progress. I had 4 straight winning days, and I was well on my way to hitting the first step, which was $159,000, and then step 2 is another 9,000. So yeah, that one kind of sucked. And whenever I have a day like that, even though it's paper trading through their combine, I don't want to reset my account. It costs money to do that. It costs time. And so I just said I'm going to take the day off. So I took Thursday off. And I just reminded myself, your strategy is 100% sound. It works, but only when you work. And you got to stick to your strategy. I kind of got old strategies that I've used before with the stocks mixed into the futures. And after this second week, it makes sense of why I might have pursued that as almost like a reaction, like an instinct into buying the dip, more or less. And so I just need that slap again, and it turns out, it'll turn out to be a good thing in the long run. Plus, it wasn't with my own money, so I can't complain there. So that Friday, I had $1,137 profit for the day, and you could see that in my weekly results. Again, I ended up green for the week. So first week trading the combine was really just 2 days. The week prior to this was $300 profit, and then we're at $3,400, and that put me at about 153 after that Friday. And so today was a good day. However, I did 1305 today, so I'm at 155, just under where I was at in my max less than a week ago. If we go over today's trades, and I can show you the chart and a little bit more of my strategy, what I'm using. But I had first trade for 695. Internet goes out, and I had to close the trade on my phone. I would have held on longer. But being that happened, I thought it was a fluke. The internet came back on, and then it happened again, and I got out. So I had to call, my internet provider, and we got it squared away. I was cautious after that because I was up for the day, and what I considered to be very lucky that it didn't go against me, and I lost. So I took a small loss here for 45, and then later on in the day I saw another opportunity. But I was pretty much done by 7:06 a.m., which is, a couple hours behind the CBOE. And so it was a good day. I do think it could have been about 3 times as profitable had my internet worked, and I had a little bit more time to think about what I was doing if I was a little bit in a scramble. So to kind of go over the strategy here on the charts, We're looking at a 1 minute for the NASDAQ. I strictly am trading the NASDAQ because I love the volatility. And my main bread and butter strategy is going to be double tops and double bottoms. Could be triple as well. If they end up agreeing with me, I'll just take on more size as more bottoms or tops form. But what I'm looking for are a few different things. And the biggest thing is that I don't care what the price is doing as much. I mean, price action is important, but volume takes precedent over everything. Volume tells me everything what I need to know. And so without going into too much detail, those two things help me figure out that this price doesn't really belong here because volume isn't equal or more than the volume was at this period of time. And in a kind of short period of time, we can see the difference between these two tops is about 13 minutes. So there's not much market condition-wise would change in that period of time. Puts me in very high conviction of taking a short. And so yeah, the other part of my strategy, which I wasn't able to do, is to take more than one contract. Let's say 3 contracts. In this case, I should have taken at this top, and then I would take one for 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 profit, risk to reward, depending on how quick the move and everything else. I don't put a limit order right away. I kind of see what happens, and then we'll usually stop out for 1-to-1 or try to get a 1-to-2, and then let 2 runners on. Those runners are break even, so I wouldn't lose any money on them. Or sometimes I've even put it over the high if I get a pretty good entry and I wouldn't be losing too much. Stops in this case would be about $1,000, $1,500, and I have marked levels of pivot points and also some levels I marked myself. I have a end of day routine where I mark these levels. It's pretty easy to do. Just look on various time frames and you really pick out the wicks that are occurring on all those time frames. It doesn't take too long to do. And so for the later part of my strategy is to have a trailing stop. And I use the 9 EMA, which is this mint green line, and then I use the 20 SMA for the 1 minute, which is this yellow line. And what I do is trail the stop so that if the bar closes above the EMA, I would stop out. And then the last trailer would be if the bar closes above the SMA, I would close out. So that's the strategy. Not if the bar touches, but it has to close out there. So I give it a chance to breathe and wiggle a little bit, some breathing room. Otherwise, you get stopped out really quick, as you can see here. And so that the fourth and last trade was around this area because it was the same situation where I saw volume come in for this price action, and it was pretty indecisive of which direction it wanted to go. And then the strong move up, which kind of cleared out a lot of shorts, right? And that's something market makers might want to do sometimes if they want to, continue the trend, or the trend will continue on the downside. So I picked up a contract here, and this one would have been really good for a trailing stop because, as you can see, it did not close above this 9 EMA until about 80 points. Even on the worst case scenario, that would have been something like 60 points, which at $20 a point is pretty significant. And then I wouldn't have stopped out on the 20 SMA until right about here, which is something like over 100 points, around 100 points. So that's a nice $2,000 profit. So yeah, that's part of the strategy. Pretty simple. Just got to work on my patience and only sticking to setups that are A+ and in my plan. So I hope that helps. Again, subscribe and like the video, and then you can watch my journey as I go through all this, and I try to do daily and weekly recaps. I do have a 20% off link. It helps the channel out a lot if you click on that and join Top Step. It's in the comments and in the description. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Thank you, and have a profitable day and have a profitable week.